Cool. Awesome. Well, today we've got a special treat because Michelle and I are going to sit down and look at an Imagine Day where we can just sort of brainstorm together to figure out how best to come up with different solutions that might solve her challenge. Because we all know that the 5-day framework delivers a result by the end of the week. And so that's where we are. So Michelle, thank you for doing this. And let's just jump right into it. What's the challenge you're trying to solve this week?
Yeah, so the challenge that I'm working on solving, Kevin, is around a contractor relationship that I've had. Had just some hiccups in the relationship along the way that led me to, reevaluate if that's a relationship I want to continue. And I already did make the decision that I would work with them another 30 days, given the opportunity cost of having to think through what I would do next with that, with all of those loose ends. I would have had to divert my attention away from another program in my business that's going really well.
Okay.
So I will be faced now very shortly after that, extending that relationship another 30 days of evaluating it and what I will do and balancing that with the other, area of my business that is going really well.
Great. Okay. So we are, we're looking at two different things here that I think is going to be super helpful. Is one, what are our potential solutions going forward? And then if we have time at the end of the call, I want to look at what are the key takeaways so we can put them in your pocket for what do you evaluate with relationships going forward to make sure that we don't repeat this in the future. So we'll try and do two sides of the coin here if we can get to. All right, so let's do first things first here. Well, I think to be super helpful, let's try to look at if this situation cured itself in 30 days, what does an okay scenario, an acceptable scenario for you that is that is reasonably a solid result? What does that look like?
What does that look like? In 30 days, at the end of 30 days, a solid result is a working funnel in place that is beginning to produce interest in the core offer.
Okay, and I know it's, I don't know how far into the details you want to get. Do you know what the what level of interest you're going to say is okay?
I don't. Probably
yeah.
That's a problem.
Okay, no, let's just put a marker here because you're going to get this whenever we're done.
Yeah.
Need KPIs so that you have some objectivity to make the decision.
Yep. I mean, and you can look at the average KPIs and all that stuff, but what do I want after 30 days, I guess is. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. No, that's cool. All right. So then the next question, also a little challenging to ask, is what if there is marked improvement, but still not where you want it to be?
If there's marked improvement, still not where I want to be. If all indicators are good, I will continue forward.
Okay. And biggest reason I'm assuming that is just because the opportunity cost, the loss cost, and the cost of change.
Yes.
Is offsetting. So, okay. So.
And because I feel like 30 days, I feel like I will give I think in my mind, I know that if everything continues to improve week after week, 30 days after 30 days, that I will know if this is a win in probably 3 months at the most.
Yeah. And I think what may be helpful there is, in fact, let's just grab one of these bad boys. and connect those two, because I think the hard part is not, is it a bullseye win or loss? That's obvious, but it's more than likely going to be on the fringes. And so it's better as a CEO right now to be thinking about the what ifs of 10% below what you wanted, 10% above what you expected, that sort of thing. So that way you have some sort of objectivity there. It helps you take emotion out of the thing. And also to look at it from an investment strategy versus just the frustration factor.
Yep.
Okay. So, all right. So then let's look at then if we're not curing and we're not almost curing, we're at a spot that says we're going to make a change. What sort of cost structure, time loss, what are all the things that are going to impact you and your business?
So yeah, if we have to make a change, it's going to definitely, we're going to lose time because of, moving to a new relationship.
Yep. What sort of time frame you think? Does that take a month, 2 months?
I think 8 weeks. I think 8 weeks. I mean,
great. Cool.
Just to be generous, I think in my mind, I think I need to think about a potential another $10,000 investment on top of what I've already done.
Okay.
I think there will be time, opportunity cost of my time, just, engaging with a new team, getting them up to speed, being more involved. Which is a really, that's a big piece for me because I have another program that I'm working on that's going really well right now.
Stealing time from new working program. Okay. Anything else?
I guess if everything stays the same, I still don't have an indication of, is this a good, I don't even have confirmation, is this a good win? This is a good offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the challenge. Because again, if somebody could tell you this is a win, you'll put the money in, you'll put the time in, but I would be making the change without knowing that.
Yeah. No, and I think, again, let's go ahead and grab here and connect these two, because I think what would be useful time for you to kind of flesh some of these out as you're looking at next steps in 5 days, and you begin to illustrate these ideas, the potential solutions, then here again, measuring a pass or a fail against something that you're not completely sure whether or not the offer and the funnel are a good product to begin with. So it helps kind of move the needle. It doesn't really make the change as to whether or not you would make a vendor shift, but it would help you make an evaluation as to where the needle comes down of is it the offer's fault? Is it the system's fault? Is it the vendor's fault? And where does the responsibility of all that lay? Because you want to come back to this at some point and look at how do you plan for future offers, future funnels with a little bit more certainty. Is there a testing model that you could apply? Is there a kind of like a beta version, kind of like what I've done with 5 day, and that's just things like that you can kind of think your way through, so that it's beyond just solving this one issue. It gives you other key takeaways from the fun of having a lesson in your business. Yeah. So cool. Okay. Any other impact if the process stays the same and you've got to move to somebody else?
I don't think so. I mean, do you talk about the mental, emotional impact?
Well, I mean, I think that's
already been fulfilled, I don't think there'll be any additional impact there.
Yeah, well, and certainly we would hope so, but at the same time, being realistic and saying, it's frustrating, and we've all been there.
Yeah.
But but I'm pretty sure you've got the key takeaways of kind of what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other option, I don't know if we talk about this, but the other option is impact if process stays the same. The option is I don't take it anywhere else. I just table it.
Yeah. So with that, then you've got you've got the opportunity cost of what you've spent so far.
Yep.
So but you do mitigate future risk. The hole is only so deep.
Or, like revisit in the future, like save some of the loss of my time right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's unpack that a little bit. If that were an option for you, in fact, let's just grab this bad boy and make it its own little happy family. If you were to say, whether you revisited and went back or revisited and went with new, we'll take the vendor side of this equation off. If you were to decide to table it and revisit, what are the things that are going to be necessary for that to be a good solution for you?
Well, I'm not getting results at the end of 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And my other program continues to show results. The logical decision would be that would be the best use of my time.
Right.
And or money. Like if I had 10,000 to invest in this other program, right? Instead of splitting my time and money, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Nice. No, that certainly that gives us another option to kind of look at this and say, okay, we lick our wounds, call it what it is, don't go any deeper, and perhaps let the healing and the working of the other program that is working cover some of the out-of-pocket costs for a future tabling. So that actually could be a pretty solid solution if we can figure out how to measure the proof of concept if we were to take it forward.
Yep. Like, how are we going to make that call?
Uh-huh. Yep. Oh, that's a super one. Okay. So, thinking through these, I mean, this is actually a pretty clear cut one, which I'm enjoying. I had one yesterday. Boy, it was really tough. So without going to the past frustration and all this sort of thing, any emotional attachment to keeping it or letting it go other than the lost time and lost money? Is there anything here that's like a personal passion or something that, it would really kind of feel, it would be hurtful or feel like you're failing if you had to let it go or set it aside?
No. Okay. There's not, honestly. I'm not attached. Yay. That is the CEO part of me that's developed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's
not to be attached to things, like you just don't know what's going to hit when or how sometimes. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can talk about that some. Yeah, no, that's good, because one of the Imagine days that I was doing with somebody yesterday, after an hour of digging through it, she actually said to me, I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to do if I have to let, and she fills in the blank of her program, go.
Yeah.
And she went to tears, and she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, I mean, it's like, this is one of her kids. and so that certainly weighs into the decision. You have to make it a factor if it is a factor. You can't just, set it aside.
I love that you called that out, because I've been in that position before too. I know what that feels like, and I definitely know that I'm not there. Cool.
No, that's excellent. Okay, so let's look at if you were to make a move, and we feel like this, what are the non-negotiables for a new partner? What's that going to need to look like for you?
If I decided to move the business,
Yes.
Results.
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly. I mean, from the things we've talked about, so I can fill in a couple
Strong
of these.
Communication. Yeah.
Come on, fingers don't fail me now. I think, having, one of the things that as I've thought about this since, in full disclosure for those that are listening, because we've talked about this situation a little bit, is what are the questions that, you put a marker out here for what would knowing what you know now, what questions would you ask of a new vendor that you maybe didn't ask going in, to be able to understand kind of what potential risk there was?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would better like to understand the team and how the communication, it's really a lot of stuff around communication, like how, who's looking at what part and how are they all communicating together?
Yes.
Who am I communicating with, and what level of experience do each of these people have?
Right.
I mean, certainly success rates, but I think more around communication.
Yeah.
And process. And also, anytime you're hiring someone to do work for you, you're looking at a timeline for the project and what happens when we go out of that scope.
Adjustment and revision. Yeah, I mean, there's always that challenge when it's always risky that
yes.
a scope can change, but it's how do you then how do you talk about that and make the shift, and at what point? When do you
Right.
need to know that you need to make a shift, rather than coming down to the end and say, oh, we've burned all those hours and we're only halfway done. Oops.
Yeah. It's prescribing a treatment plan and then checking in along the way. I would be looking for those checkpoints and the basically how they're communicating that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it may be one of those. I was on a call on Tuesday afternoon with somebody that is in a service industry, and we were talking about maybe a hybrid model for future projects for them, so that they could quote out, here's the mechanics of a funnel system.
Mm-hmm.
But then here are the fluid elements that populate that funnel system and test that funnel system, to possibly take the project and break it apart, so that
Mm-hmm.
you as a CEO can say, okay, I know I've got this baseline cost, and because I have a working piece of technology, I know I have good value in that.
Yeah.
Now, my variable and my risk is in content or in testing, in order to get to a control, things like that. So it might even be interesting to kind of look at that from a model if you looked at a new vendor. Or the other thing to consider here with a new vendor, what you have that mechanically functions, is that mechanically functioning element, the funnel, I'm assuming it's yours to take with you.
Yeah.
So there is loss of cost, but you also do have some value in there's a thing that works.
Yep.
Or that physically operates, I should say.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right. So it looks like at this point you've got so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 potential solutions here. Any other ideas come to mind?
Um, I think these are the ones that I see in my head for sure.
Yeah. It feels like to me, um, I mean, the big decisions on this, and I like this because this is nice and clean cut, is going to be what are your key measurement pieces between it's going better enough
Yep.
or it's just below where it's not. So if you can solve that question, that's going to give you an A side or B side on that issue. And then if you do have to move, then the question is, do you move and incur the additional cost, or do you table it, focus on the growing product that you've got going, and see if you can't let the company heal itself just by focusing on a single thing.
Yep.
So, I mean, that sounds. This is one of these rare things for those who are keeping score. That's why we say in the framework that you're looking for 2 to 5 solutions. And although you've got 4 elements here, you really have 2 solutions. You've just got
Yep.
an A and B version of 2 solutions.
Yep.
Cool. Aren't you just nice and compact today? I love this.
Well, I've been working on this one a little bit. So it's been slowly getting more compact in my brain.
Yeah, no, that is perfect. And I think this is a super helpful example for the group, and hopefully hopefully a useful tool for you as well. So let me